The galaxy had always underestimated humanity. For centuries, alien civilizations had believed humans to be small, fragile, and limited in technology. They were wrong. Deep within the Sol cluster, hidden behind layers of secret defense satellites and cloaking technology, humanity had built something the galaxy had never seen before, a warship so advanced, so powerful that its very existence could rewrite the rules of interstellar warfare. They called it the Aegis Ascendant. Captain Elena Voss walked through the cavernous interior of the ship, her boots echoing softly against polished metal floors. At 28, she was younger than most starship captains, but her tactical brilliance and calm decision-making had earned her command of humanity's most dangerous secret. Every corridor, every console, every deck of the Aegis Ascendant hummed with controlled energy, as if the ship itself were alive. Captain Voss, Lieutenant Kieran spoke, his voice calm but slightly tense. All systems are online. We're ready for the first full-power trial. Elena nodded, her gray eyes scanning the control panels. Good. Let's see if the legends are true. The ship's AI, a sophisticated neural network named Aurora, responded in a soft, melodic voice. Captain, all systems are optimal. Weapons, shields, propulsion, fully operational. Tactical simulations indicate a 99.8% success rate against standard alien patrol fleets. Elena smiled faintly. I don't need simulations. Let's test it in the real environment. Outside, the cloaking field shimmered like a thin veil of heat over the ship's hull. The Aegis Ascendant drifted silently through the asteroid belt that marked the boundary of human-controlled space. It was designed to move fast, strike hard, and adapt faster than any alien warship could anticipate. Its hull was reinforced with quantum alloys, nearly impervious to energy beams and missiles. Its engines used a combination of antimatter and fusion drives, giving it unmatched speed. But what made it truly unique was its adaptive combat system, capable of analyzing enemy tactics in real time and adjusting shields, weapons, and movement instantly. Captain, Kieran said, we have incoming. Elena's fingers danced over the controls. On the main view screen, a small alien patrol fleet appeared. 6 ships, triangular in shape, dark gray metal armed with plasma cannons. They were part of the coalition of allied worlds, an alliance of alien civilizations that had ruled this sector for centuries. They had no idea what they were about to face. Engage defense protocols, Aurora. Let's see how we perform, Elena ordered. In an instant, the Aegis Ascendant shifted. Shields glowed faintly with an iridescent sheen, and the ship's adaptive weapon systems activated. Within seconds, the alien ships were caught in a crossfire of energy beams so precise that none could escape. Missiles were intercepted mid-flight. Plasma bursts were deflected. The Aegis Ascendant moved like a predator, fluid and graceful, outmaneuvering the slower, predictable alien ships. This can't be happening, one alien commander transmitted in panic. They're faster, smarter. Elena allowed herself a small smile. They underestimated us again. The skirmish was brief. The aliens fled, leaving their damaged ships behind. Humanity's hidden weapon had proven itself in a real battle, and its reputation, though unknown to most of the galaxy, had already begun to grow in whispers among those who had scanned the fleeting traces of the fight. In the aftermath, the human crew gathered in the central command room. The tension of the test had left them exhilarated and slightly exhausted. Kieran, Elena said, prepare a full report. But don't let anyone outside the command chain see it, not yet. The galaxy isn't ready to know about us. Lieutenant Kieran nodded. Understood, Captain. But they'll notice soon. A ship like this doesn't just disappear. Elena's gaze hardened. Then we make sure they see the right side of humanity. Not our weakness, but our strength. That night, as the ship drifted through the quiet void, Elena stood at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. She thought about the countless colonies humanity had established, the endless struggles against hostile alien environments, and the times when humans had survived against impossible odds. Humans had always adapted, always found a way. That adaptability, that resilience, was part of what made the Aegis Ascendant more than just a machine. It was the embodiment of human spirit, smart, relentless, and unbreakable. Her thoughts were interrupted by Aurora's gentle voice. Captain, I am detecting a signal. Unknown origin. Appears to be approaching rapidly. Elena's brow furrowed. On screen, a small, sleek vessel appeared on the display. Its design was unfamiliar. unlike any known human or alien ship. Its energy signature was strong, and its speed suggested it wasn't just a scout. It was a reconnaissance vessel, sent to find and identify threats. "Open communications," Elena ordered. A holographic alien figure appeared. Its features were angular and sharp, eyes glowing faintly. "Humans," it said in a neutral tone. "You operate in restricted space. Your actions have been noted. State your purpose." Elena held her ground. "This is human territory. We are conducting a defensive test. No aggression intended." The alien's eyes narrowed. "The Coalition will hear of this. You possess a vessel unmatched in power."
Such a weapon.
"It cannot be tolerated." Elena felt a chill. The galaxy's ruling powers were already aware of the Aegis Ascendant. She had hoped to delay this moment, but it seemed inevitable. Aurora's voice was calm. "Captain, tactical analysis suggests that the alien vessel is lightly armed. We could disable it without significant risk." Elena shook her head. "Not yet. Let's see how they respond. Escalation is not always the best first move." The alien vessel withdrew, sending a final message. "You have been warned. The Coalition does not tolerate threats of this magnitude." Elena exhaled slowly. The galaxy was already beginning to fear humans. Not for aggression, but for potential. Potential they had only begun to realize. In the following days, the Aegis Ascendant continued testing. Elena and her crew ran simulations against larger fleets, practiced evasive maneuvers, and pushed the ship's limits. Every test proved the same thing. Humans, with their creativity, courage, and willingness to take calculated risks, were a force no one could predict. Lieutenant Kieran approached Elena one evening. "Captain, do you think the galaxy is ready for us?" Elena looked at the stars again, her expression thoughtful. "The galaxy will never be ready. But that doesn't mean we hide. Humans survive by facing challenges, not avoiding them. We've built this ship not to conquer, but to protect. And that is what makes us dangerous." The crew of the Aegis Ascendant felt a quiet pride in that moment. They were not just humans. They were the vanguard of a species that refused to be limited. Every human on that ship carried the hopes, dreams, and resilience of an entire civilization. As they prepared for the next stage of their journey, Elena knew one thing for certain. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. And when they discovered the full power of the Aegis Ascendant, they would realize that underestimating humanity had been the galaxy's first and most dangerous mistake. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a canvas of possibilities. And somewhere in the darkness, humans were ready to paint their story across the galaxy. So word count, by 310 words, this completes part 1. It sets up the ship, introduces the main character and crew, establishes human ingenuity and bravery, and begins the conflict with the wider galaxy. I can continue with part 2 next, where the galaxy starts noticing the humans' power and the stakes rise. Do you want me to write part 2 now? You said ChatGPT said absolutely. Here's part 2 of the most overpowered human warship, banned by the galaxy. Written in third-person style, around 1,300 words, engaging and in simple English. Part 2, the galaxy notices. The news of the mysterious ship spread faster than any human fleet could have imagined. Across the coalition of allied worlds, sensors had picked up strange energy readings, and star systems whispered of a vessel that moved faster than thought possible and struck with unimaginable precision. Humans, long considered unpredictable but weak, suddenly became a source of fear and fascination. Captain Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the Aegis Ascendant, watching the calm stars. Her crew moved efficiently around her, adjusting systems and running diagnostics, but the atmosphere was tense. Unlike the secret trials in the Sol cluster, their operations were now in a zone where alien patrols often passed. Any slip could draw attention, and attention from the coalition was never gentle. "Kieran," Elena said, turning to her first officer, "what's the status of our long-range scans?" Lieutenant Kieran's fingers flew across the console. "We've detected multiple patrol fleets in the nearby sectors. None are actively approaching us, but the coalition is aware something unusual is happening." "They're watching?" Elena nodded. "Good, let them watch. We'll show them that humans are more than they think." Aurora's calm voice interrupted. "Captain, I am detecting communications traffic across multiple frequencies. Alien command centers are discussing a response to your vessel's recent engagement." Elena's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "The galaxy is noticing. That means we're doing something right. Despite the sense of achievement, tension was thick in the air. The aliens didn't respond. The coalition of allied worlds had watched the Aegis Ascendant with growing unease for weeks. Every report returned from sensor networks and patrol fleets painted the same picture. A human vessel, unmatched in speed, defense, and firepower, capable of saving colonies, disabling enemy fleets, and outmaneuvering tactics that had been honed over centuries. They could no longer ignore the threat. In the Grand Council chamber of the Coalition's Central Command, alien leaders of every species gathered, their voices overlapping in debate and concern. "We cannot allow this human vessel to roam freely," said the reptilian ambassador with a hiss. "If we do, more systems will come under human influence. Their power is growing exponentially." A bird-like diplomat ruffled its feathers. "We must strike before they become an unstoppable force. Our fleets are strong, but against this anomaly we need coordination like never before." The decision was made. A massive task force would converge on human space, aiming to neutralize the Aegis Ascendant. Their fleets combined unmatched numbers, the most advanced technology the Coalition could muster, and every tactical algorithm known to them. Yet even as the plans were drawn, a quiet fear lingered among the leaders. No simulation had shown success against a human ship of this caliber. Back aboard the Aegis Ascendant, Elena Voss studied the incoming sensor reports. Aurora's AI analysis was thorough, projecting multiple scenarios. "Captain, the Coalition task force is approaching at maximum warp speed. They estimate arrival in 40 standard minutes. The fleet comprises over 70 vessels, including heavy battleships and command cruisers. 70 vessels. The sheer size of the fleet was staggering, enough to overwhelm most civilizations. Yet Elena's calm gaze betrayed no fear. "Aurora, run full tactical simulations. I want every possible maneuver ready. Kieran, alert the crew. Prepare for immediate combat readiness." As the human crew went to their stations, a mix of tension and quiet determination filled the ship. Each member knew the stakes. The survival of their colonies, the reputation of humanity, and the future of the species depended on their performance. When the first signs of the Coalition fleet appeared on the sensors, the scale was breathtaking. Battleships stretched as far as the eye could see, forming an imposing wall of firepower and steel. Yet the Aegis Ascendant moved with unmatched grace, weaving between asteroid fields and debris, its shields shimmering faintly as Aurora prepared the defensive matrix. "Captain," Kieran said, "they're deploying combat drones. Hundreds of small, fast units likely designed to overwhelm our systems." Elena's expression hardened. "Let them come. Humans don't panic. We adapt." The drones swarmed like a storm, their energy weapons firing in precise bursts. The Aegis Ascendant's shields adjusted instantly, absorbing impact after impact, while the ship's adaptive weapons disabled the drones one by one. Aurora's predictive algorithms allowed the human crew to stay several steps ahead. But it was not just technology that ensured success. It was human ingenuity, the ability to improvise, to anticipate unconventional moves, to act where AI alone could not. As the drones fell away, the main fleet advanced, their massive energy cannons aimed at humanity's most advanced vessel. Elena's heart raced with controlled excitement. This was the test she had been waiting for. Not simulations, not minor patrols, but a full-scale assault. "Captain," Aurora warned, "the fleet is adjusting its formation. They are attempting a pincer maneuver. Probability of breach in our defenses is low but increasing." Elena leaned forward. "Probability is not reality. Kieran, activate lateral thrusters. Prepare countermeasures for incoming plasma waves. Aurora, sync weapons with shield modulation. Let's make them regret underestimating humans." The Aegis Ascendant danced through the void, firing precise energy beams that disabled enemy turrets, while simultaneously deploying decoys to confuse targeting systems. Alien fleets were taken aback. Their centuries of tactics failed against a ship that seemed to anticipate their every move before they executed it. During the battle, Elena noticed patterns. The Coalition relied heavily on predictable formations and mathematical algorithms to guide their fleets. But humans, flexible and intuitive, broke those patterns effortlessly. Every maneuver, every decision, combined calculation with creativity. A massive cruiser emerged from the center of the enemy formation, its hull bristling with weapons designed to punch through the strongest defenses. Aurora alerted. "Captain, energy readings indicate an imminent concentrated attack. Shields may not hold if all weapons fire simultaneously." Elena's mind raced. considering options that no simulation had ever suggested. We'll split power. Shields forward and aft, redirecting energy laterally. Weapons target cruisers' weak points in sequence. We engage mobility thrusters in unpredictable patterns. Humans improvise, the cruiser fired. Energy beams streaked across space, illuminating the void. For a moment, it seemed impossible for the human vessel to survive. Then, as if moving with thought itself, the Aegis Ascendant shifted, absorbing the blasts with a combination of shield modulation and maneuvering, while returning fire at precision points on the cruiser's hull. The massive vessel shuddered and then exploded in a controlled chain reaction. The remaining enemy ships hesitated. Fleet commanders transmitted urgent messages back to the Coalition Command Center, their tone filled with disbelief and fear. The human vessel at it should not be possible. Elena kept her focus. Do not underestimate them, she reminded Kieran and the crew. One victory does not end the battle. The fight raged for hours, using a combination of strategic brilliance, adaptive technology, and fearless decision-making. The Aegis Ascendant systematically dismantled the enemy formation. Each human action demonstrated creativity the Coalition fleets could not predict. Feints, rapid energy bursts, synchronized decoys, and gravity manipulation to shift small asteroids as barriers. Finally, the remaining Coalition ships, their losses mounting and morale shattered, began a slow retreat. The human warship, battered but unbroken, drifted in the void, victorious. When the battle ended, Elena allowed herself a moment to breathe. She looked at her crew, who were exhausted but glowing with pride. We've shown them what humans can do, she said softly. Aurora's voice was calm but reflective. Captain, operational efficiency exceeded expectations by 42%. Human adaptability remains the decisive factor in survival and victory. Kieran smiled faintly. I don't think the galaxy will ever forget this day. Yet even in victory, Elena knew the danger was far from over. The Coalition had been humiliated, and their fear would turn into resolve. Humanity's demonstration of power was complete, but it had also painted a target on their backs. Later in private, Elena accessed the communications relay from the Coalition. The message was formal, cold, and unwavering. Humans, your actions have left us no choice. The continued operation of the Aegis Ascendant within Coalition-monitored space will be treated as an act of war. Cease immediately or face total retaliation. Elena stared at the message. The galaxy was mobilizing, preparing for conflict on a scale she had never faced. But she was not afraid. Humans survived against overwhelming odds because they thought differently, acted boldly, and adapted faster than anyone else. She turned to her crew. We've proven what humans can do, but the galaxy will test us further. We must be ready, not just to fight, but to show that humans are more than just power. We are strategy, ingenuity, and courage. The crew nodded. They understood the truth of her words. The Aegis Ascendant was more than a warship. It was a symbol of human resilience and adaptability. It was a message to the galaxy. Humans could not be underestimated. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, the Aegis Ascendant moved silently, repaired systems running smoothly, shields recharging, weapons recalibrating. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's might and creativity, and the Coalition would never look at humans the same way again. Elena's gaze turned to the distant horizon. Somewhere beyond the void, the Coalition fleets would regroup, reassess, and plan. But humans did not wait. Humans acted. And when the next challenge came, the Aegis Ascendant and its crew would be ready. For humanity, survival was not just about strength. It was about using every tool, every idea, every ounce of courage to overcome the impossible. And in that, the Aegis Ascendant was unbeatable. The galaxy had struck and humans had struck back. The battle was won, but the war of perception and power was just beginning. Word count. 2,300 word summary of Part 3. Coalition launches a massive fleet to destroy Aegis Ascendant. Human ingenuity, adaptive tactics, and bravery allow the ship to win against overwhelming odds. The galaxy starts fearing humanity more, increasing tension and setting up the next stage of political and strategic conflict. I can write Part 4 next, where the Coalition escalates their response, possibly banning the warship, and humans face diplomatic and strategic challenges. Do you want me to proceed with Part 4? You said ChatGPT said absolutely. Here's Part 4 of the most overpowered human warship, banned by the galaxy, written in third-person style, around 1,300 words. Simple and engaging English. fully free of any inappropriate content. Part 4, The Banishment the Galaxy had spoken. Not with woe. The galaxy had changed. News of the Aegis Ascendant and its crew had spread far beyond human space. For the first time, humans were no longer merely one of many species. They were a symbol of ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. Alien civilizations whispered the name in awe and cautious respect. The coalition of allied worlds, still wary of human potential, had imposed restrictions, but the galaxy had learned an important truth. Humanity could not be ignored. Captain Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the Aegis Ascendant, her gaze fixed on the expanse of stars ahead. Behind her, the hum of the ship's systems reflected the quiet confidence of a crew that had faced impossible odds and prevailed. They had survived the Coalition's fleets, neutralized rogue threats, and proven that humans could wield overwhelming power responsibly. Lieutenant Kieran approached, holding a report from a distant colony. "Captain, another system has requested assistance. They've heard about our past actions and want guidance on defensive measures. Humanity's reputation is spreading faster than anticipated." Elena nodded. "Prepare the course. We respond but carefully. Our goal isn't conquest, it's protection and education. We show the galaxy the right way to use strength." Aurora's soft voice joined the conversation. "Captain, my analysis indicates that continued operations like these will enhance human influence in neutral systems while minimizing conflict with the Coalition. Probability of maintaining peace, 78%. Probability of escalation, low if diplomacy is maintained." Elena smiled faintly. "Good, let's maintain that balance. Humans survive by being adaptable. That's our greatest strength." The next mission took the Aegis Ascendant to a frontier system threatened by a massive gravitational anomaly, an unstable cluster of collapsing stars that had recently begun emitting dangerous radiation. Several species had attempted intervention but failed, citing technology limitations and the risk of catastrophic loss. Humanity, however, faced the challenge differently. Elena gathered her crew. "This mission will test our ingenuity. The anomaly cannot be destroyed, but we can stabilize its impact on nearby colonies. Aurora, calculate all possible methods of gravitational modulation and energy absorption. Kieran, coordinate with colony leaders for emergency evacuation if needed. Let's show the galaxy that humans can solve what others cannot." The ship moved toward the anomaly, engines humming as it wove through debris and radiation bursts. Aurora adjusted shields to absorb fluctuating energy, while projecting controlled gravitational pulses to stabilize the cluster. Elena directed minor course corrections, combining intuition with precise data analysis. Hours passed in tense silence. Every crew member focused on their tasks, aware that a single mistake could mean disaster. Yet human determination, creativity, and teamwork transformed what seemed impossible into manageable precision. Finally, the anomaly stabilized. Radiation levels dropped, and colonies that once faced imminent destruction were safe. Elena allowed herself a quiet breath of relief. Kieran shook his head in disbelief. No one else could have done this. Humans don't just survive, they adapt and create solutions no one else would even imagine. Elena glanced at him. "That's the essence of our species. We don't just react, we innovate. That is why the galaxy fears and respects us." As news of the anomaly's stabilization spread, humans received messages of gratitude from dozens of species. Aliens who once doubted humanity began to view humans as allies, teachers, and protectors. The Aegis Ascendant, once a feared weapon, became a symbol of hope and inspiration. Yet the Coalition remained vigilant. Even as humans earned respect, the political balance of power demanded caution. Messages continued from Coalition Command, reminding humans of the ban and their restrictions. But Elena treated them as guidance rather than chains. "The galaxy will always be cautious," she told her crew. "We cannot force trust, only earn it through our actions. Strength without wisdom is dangerous. Strength with wisdom is unstoppable." The Aegis Ascendant continued its journey, balancing diplomacy, protection, and exploration. On each mission, humans demonstrated qualities that no algorithm or doctrine could replicate: courage under fire, innovative thinking, and a moral compass guiding power responsibly. During one mission, a small alien research station faced annihilation from an unstable wormhole. The station's automated defenses were overwhelmed and evacuation seemed impossible. Elena and her crew approached carefully, using a combination of the Aegis Ascendant's energy shields and gravitational pulses to stabilize the wormhole temporarily. While Aurora calculated energy flows and shield harmonics, Elena coordinated with Kieran and the crew to transfer personnel safely. The operation was delicate and dangerous, yet humans prevailed. Every life was saved, every system stabilized, and the aliens hailed humanity's ingenuity. Reports from across the galaxy began to circulate, creating a legend that humans themselves never sought. Tales of a single human ship saving entire colonies, outmaneuvering fleets and solving impossible problems spread faster than any rumor or warning. Across countless worlds, humans were no longer merely inhabitants, they were heroes, leaders, and innovators. Elena stood on the observation deck one evening, staring at the stars with quiet satisfaction. "The galaxy is learning," she said softly. "They are learning what humans are capable of. But we cannot grow arrogant. Our power is a responsibility, not a weapon of fear." Kieran joined her, looking thoughtful. "Do you think they'll ever truly trust us?" Elena's gaze remained steady. "Trust is earned over time. Right now, we've earned respect. The rest will follow as long as we continue to act with integrity and courage." The crew of the Aegis Ascendant shared that determination. Each member understood their role, not just as soldiers or engineers, but as representatives of humanity itself. They carried the values of an entire species: intelligence, courage, creativity, and moral responsibility. As the ship traveled toward its next mission, Aurora spoke quietly. "Captain, long-term projections indicate that humanity's influence will expand significantly in neutral and previously unstable systems. Probability of peaceful integration with alien civilizations high. Probability of conflict with the coalition moderate but manageable." Elena smiled faintly. "Then we continue. Every mission, every decision, every action shapes the galaxy's perception of humans. We are not conquerors. We are protectors. That is our legacy." Months passed, and humans continued to make their mark. Colonies prospered under protection, technological knowledge spread through cooperative missions, and the coalition, though cautious, began to acknowledge humanity's strategic importance. Fear remained, but admiration grew alongside it. The legend of the Aegis Ascendant became more than a story of power, it was a story of humanity's spirit. Across alien worlds, tales circulated of a young captain and her crew, a ship that could challenge entire fleets, and a species that never surrendered to fear or impossibility. Humans were clever, resilient, and courageous, but they also embodied responsibility and honor, a combination the galaxy had never seen before. One evening, as the ship drifted silently through the void, Elena addressed her crew in the central command room. "Look around you," she said. "We've faced threats the galaxy never expected us to survive. We've saved lives, solved problems no one else could, and earned respect where there was only doubt. This is what humans are capable of." Her crew nodded, their faces reflecting pride and determination. "But this is just the beginning," Elena continued. "The galaxy will always have challenges, dangers, and uncertainties. Humanity will continue to rise, adapt, and protect. That is our nature. That is our legacy." As the stars stretched endlessly before them, the Aegis Ascendant moved forward, not as a weapon of fear, but as a symbol of what humanity could achieve. The ship had proven that intelligence, courage, and moral responsibility were as important as firepower. The galaxy would never forget the name, and somewhere, in every corner of human-controlled and neutral space, the legend of humanity began to take root, a legend of cleverness, bravery, and indomitable spirit. The Aegis Ascendant had not just survived. It had changed the galaxy's perception of an entire species. Humanity was no longer underestimated. Humanity was respected. Humanity was celebrated. Captain Elena Voss looked out at the endless stars and thought quietly to herself. The galaxy had seen what humans could do, and it would never be the same again. Humans were a species of problem solvers, protectors, and survivors, and as long as they remained true to themselves, nothing, not fleets, not politics, not cosmic dangers, could stop them. The legend of the Aegis Ascendant had only just begun.